Hello, this is Michael Denon, Vice Provost for Teaching and Learning and Dean of the Division of Undergraduate Education here at UC Irvine. And this is Conversations with the Vice Provost. I sit down with colleagues and friends and we discuss issues of importance to UCI, the community, the nation, and we believe the world. And today it's my pleasure to be with Brian Hervey, our Vice Chancellor for University Advancement and Alumni Relations. Brian, welcome.
Thank you, Michael. Glad to be here.
So our first question, advancement, fundraising. People hear it and they think, oh, that's just about raising money. Now, I'm new to this. I'm a whole 3 years in as a Vice Provost. And what has impressed me most is the relationships I've been able to build and the lessons and training I've received around relationship. So I'd just like to start off with your thoughts on advancement as relationship, and then maybe I'll have some follow-up questions with that.
Fantastic. Well, it really is a process. So advancement, we really believe it's hopefully a long-term relationship with different supporters, whether those supporters are alumni, members of the community, corporations, foundations. We really want to build relationships to help fulfill our mission. We really do need not only external funding, but we need advisors and people to get involved with internships. And there's so many different ways that people can be involved with the university and help us fulfill our mission. So that really is what I see advancement as.
And in that space, what are some of the, I think people don't often understand the breadth of what a university can do in terms of helping them achieve something they really want to do, right? So what are some of the things you've found in your career, not just at UCI, but maybe at UCI in particularly, where you've been able to help people understand how a university can actually help them with something they're passionate about?
Absolutely. So I've seen a lot of cases, certainly on campus, and we talk about that relationship, that really the philanthropy comes from somebody really seeing what we're doing, and hopefully that also matches their passions, or it's something they've thought about and didn't know really how to get involved. So we've had donors who have done everything from help us create centers where we're looking at a particular relationship with a country, for instance. And so we've had a great example of that is the Long Institute. And so the Long Family Foundation has gotten involved with the university, have donated money, and actually helped bring in advisors and other people to help us understand the complexities and the relationships we could have with China, for instance. Excellent. And so it's been a real success story for the campus.
What I like about that, I think most people hear, oh, doing something with my passion, and immediately think curing a disease. And that's sort of, oh, universities do research, so maybe they help cure a disease. What I like about what you mentioned, that is a different type of passion that is sort of even outside science and STEM. Are there other places, you hear about some of the really big gifts, and those obviously get a lot of press. Are there other, I know we have a lot of ways people can kind of participate. You mentioned being advisors, right? What are areas people can really help the university with their expertise?
Certainly. So every school on campus and most of our major programs all have advisory boards. And so this is opportunities for folks outside the campus to get involved with the faculty, with our leadership, and just kind of be a brainstorming session. Have an opportunity to listen to them, and for them to also listen to our message to see if we have the right message that will appeal to an outside audience. One of the real advantages of UCI is the fact that, sort of on the face of it, everyone would think, well, you're an education institution. So that's really how I would, if I'm not interested in education, well, there may not be anything for me. But in fact, we have an education, we're a research university, we have an academic medical center, and really all kinds of programs where we really reach out to support the community. So one of the great advantages here is the fact that really almost anywhere that somebody's passion lies, we have a match. We have something that they can get involved with here.
Now, one thing that I also think is an exciting recent development, depending exactly how quickly we edit this, it may not be as recent anymore, but is the real burst in California art support that we've gained as UCI. Can you just talk a little bit about that impact on the community and the larger sort of area? Because I think we're going to provide a pretty unique role in our ability to play a role with California art.
Absolutely. And actually, it's actually amazed me quite a bit what has happened. So we originally received the first major art gift. We've been receiving art for years, and most campuses do. You see art in different public areas on the campus. But in this case, we had the Irvine family James Irvine Swindon in particular, who approached the university about gifting the Irvine Museum collection. Well, this really started us on a path and continued a path of building what we hope will be and should be probably one of the best California art collections in the country. And Gerald Buck, who was a businessman in the Newport Beach area and a real estate developer, gifted his incredible collection of California art as well. And so between these two collections, we have over 6,000 pieces of art, fantastic art. And so almost overnight, UCI became a leader in this field. And one of the things that amazed me about it and surprised me was how many people then reached out to the campus who didn't previously have a relationship with us, who wanted to get involved with us because of that art collection and the fact that we will be building an art museum soon.
Well, and I think what's nice from my perspective, even though for full disclosure I'm in the sciences, I'm a physics professor, we gain a research opportunity and an education opportunity as well, because that art museum being on the campus opens up all sorts of possibilities for our students, for our faculty, for research, as well as this nice bridge to the community. And that seems like one of those really nice all-around win examples of what advancement really can do in terms of everything from participation, realizing a passion, and even the philanthropy.
Yes, and actually in this case, something that allows UCI to really succeed in this mission is the fact that we can create an institute and museum of California art. So we have the faculty, we have the experts on campus that if you were to just go out and start an art museum, you would have to build all of that, and we have that here.
Excellent. Well, that leads into the sort of sub-question or follow-up question on relationship building and advancement, which is, how much of a handicap is it really that we're a public university? You know, you hear from people, oh, well, it's a public university, it must be supported by the state, so they have enough money, I'll go put my money elsewhere. That sort of thinking, particularly though, since in Orange County, we are the only major research university, right? So we have this kind of dual side to where we are. We're viewed as a public UC, but we're also, in some ways, the only game in town, as it were. How does that play off with each other, and where do you see that?
Well, there certainly is the sort of the push and pull a little bit between being a public university and a private university. And in the case of UCI, a little less than 10% of our funding comes from the state, but that number is significant. That's several $100 million a year in support. Philanthropy is another major support. This year, over $140 million of new commitments and gifts have come in to support the university. So that's also a major part of our funding model. Private universities have tended to have an easier time explaining that because they don't receive the state money. And I think that there are probably some number of people who will not support us just because we are a public institution, where they see sort of different rules or a mission in a private university. But I really see it as an advantage. I mean, we really serve the public interest. We do receive investment from the state. Our mission is to serve both the state and our nation, and certainly our admissions numbers and the diversity of our student body prove that.
Now, something else that maybe comes into this, though, talking about people trying to understand the university, in your role, how often are you dealing with the fact that they may not get what a research university is, right? That they maybe see us like a Cal State, which are great institutions and their primary focus is teaching. Do people really understand that role research plays that makes us unique, and being the only research university in Orange County? Is that a message we're doing better with, in your opinion? Where from the view of the community and the people we're reaching out to, how does that kind of play out for the most part?
It definitely has been a struggle. I would say that just in the last few years, though, I've seen us make great strides in the way we advertise the university. I don't think I've ever been at an institution where we didn't think internally that we were a well-kept secret. I think everyone thinks that they are, and you know, as we do market studies and determine what the public thinks and our community thinks of the university, I think we're doing it much better. We're seeing the numbers rise in the people that understand the research mission of the university. But I do think it really is the differentiator for UCI versus the other universities that are within our region. is that research mission. Is that when people make that investment, yes, it's teaching the next generation, but we're also doing work that will change our world.
And in terms of change, I think I mean, it's obviously a passion of mine and something we do closely in our unit. We have that student demographic of so many students are first in their family to go to the university. I feel that resonates very strongly with the public as a story, as a mission, as something to support. I assume you're finding similar things in that space?
We are, and we're seeing that, and, as we go out and talk about that, we're seeing a lot of people that want to support students directly through scholarships and fellowships. They see this as really a way to give back to the community, even if they were not previously associated with UCI.
Now, speaking of previously associated with UCI, that's a perfect segue into alumni. We often get the ding, we don't have a football team. So how can we be a real university? I have pointed out at various times, maybe our high success in graduation rates is that we don't have a football team to distract people. But there is this sense that people have, this, as an alumni, that you're committed to your school or you remember your school through certain events. And football teams and sports does seem to be one aspect. But it's become clear to me that our alumni engagement and our alumni excitement is growing. I've been here 21 years and I have seen a change. Part of it is we're getting older, so the alumni, I think, there's just always a bigger and bigger network of alumni that just happens. We're way less of a commuter school, so more and more of alumni had a deep experience of UCI when they were here. But in your role, both with advancement but with alumni relations, what are some of the things we're doing now to really help, and build that connection and really engage with our alumni?
That's a great point, because the university has made a lot of changes just in our short 52-year history. And as we look at sort of the alumni engagement numbers, we really do want to create a culture of being an anteater for life, where that engagement with the university starts from the very moment somebody thinks about, wow, I'd like to learn more about this university, to the time that they attend, and through that experience through the rest of their life. And it is kind of interesting about football, because that creates a reason for people to come back. It creates a lot of pride and big events and all of those sorts of things. But it really doesn't hold us back. It does make it more challenging, because we do need to strive to find ways to bring our alumni back to campus. And we know that alumni care a great deal about their campus, and as the university continues to go up in rankings and in our reputation nationally, that really benefits our previous graduates, as that, in a sense, their degree becomes more valuable. And so, bringing people back, finding those opportunities is certainly something we're really striving to do, and the numbers are reflecting that. They're going up.
Now, one thing I would think for parents and students, we've seen an amazing increase in students applying to UCI.
Yes.
Some of that probably from our rankings going up and other things. But I would think, I don't know, but do you come across this much? How much are parents and incoming students thinking explicitly about the alumni network a university provides? Because I would think, many of our students are coming here to change their lives, to move into new directions, to bring their family into a new socioeconomic status, to really make those connections that make jobs. Do they see the alumni explicitly? Do you hear them talking about that? Yes. And are we doing specific things to connect those students to that alumni network?
It really is. It is a major consideration, and I'm hearing that more and more now as we have sort of second generation families, and thirds in some cases, attending UCI, their children and grandchildren potentially, and so we're starting to see that question is coming up a lot in our student and parent orientation program days, and so there's a couple of things we're doing to address that. As you mentioned, the admissions numbers, we had 116,000 applications for UCI this year. And so lots and lots of people are hearing no, unfortunately. And with a private university, sometimes the rules are a little different about admissions. We're very strict about that process. Yeah. And so that's another big difference between public and private universities. Yeah. And so it can be a little bit of a challenge, because we have to be pretty rigid about that process, that admissions process. But one of the things we are doing is trying to figure out, how do we create an environment where you come back to UCI after you graduate, maybe even for career help.
Right.
And so a new division that's been formed is a division of career pathways. Under the leadership of that group, we're looking at all kinds of different ways to allow those services, not just for our current students, but that's very, very important that we create, first and foremost, a way for our current students to find internships and help after finding that first job. But how do we allow people to come back and use those services later?
Yeah, great. And do we see, I assume, like everybody, we have alumni around the world. And how I've seen, I get invited, obviously Northern California, there's some very Bay Area, some active groups. I get to go talk to alumni and parents there. DC, I've spoken. But I hear of my colleagues even going, China, Korea. How is that network moving, changing, and growing?
Well, it's growing by leaps and bounds, actually. So we, as part of this campaign that is coming up for UCI, we really have two goals. One is fundraising, as you would expect, but the other is engagement. And so we've been growing the number of alumni chapters. And alumni chapters can grow. As a matter of fact, we added just 6 new chapters in the last year, including some of those overseas chapters that you mentioned. So we're finding that alumni want to get together where they are and have maybe guest speakers from campus. So we're growing that network, growing those the number of events internationally and nationally, where alumni can get together and hear from the campus. But it is that engagement is a major part. We want to really, we have over 180,000 alumni now.
Wow.
And so they're pretty much at every corner of the globe. And so this creates a great opportunity for us.
Well, as they say, we're just building the Anteater Nation.
Yes.
And we'll keep growing it. Very exciting stuff, Brian. I'm excited to see. You alluded to it, so I will follow up. We have our campaign coming up. I know it's not in public phase yet, but I think it'll be an exciting time for us to see what happens in the next 5-ish years, right? That's usually what it's like. And I expect to see the alumni engagement and all of that only continue and grow. So thank you so much for coming by. It's exciting to talk with you. Thank you all for watching our conversations with the Vice Provost, and we'll see you at the next one. Thanks for watching. This is the time where you get to be part of the conversation. Comment below. You know the drill. You know how to do that. Subscribe, follow us, look for us on all our social media, and stay part of the conversations. Thank you.